Good morning, Mission students. We are so glad that you're here with us today. If you were with us last week on the weekend of the 4th of July, you heard about day camp. We are so pumped for day camp. But if you were not here last week, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on what day camp is. Day camp is going to be a fun-filled day right here at Mission Church. And for high schoolers, it will be on Thursday, August 6th. And for middle schoolers, it will be on Saturday, August 8th. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. right here. It'll be all outside. We'll be playing a ton of fun games while also staying social distance, being safe, but having a really fun day with everybody at Mission Students. So make sure you register. It is only $49 until July 17th. After that, it goes up to $65. But if you register right now, it is only $49. You could save $16. That's like 2 Chipotle orders, maybe a Chipotle and a Starbucks. So make sure to register this week so that you get the discount. It is only $49 and you do not want to miss it. And you can also invite a friend, even if they've never been to Mission before. Invite a friend to day camp so that you can have fun, they can have fun, all at church. So you might remember not last week, but the week before, we started a brand new series called The U Effect. Josh kicked us off, it was awesome. But this week we are back into the swing of things. We're going into week 2. The U Effect is all about influence. How you have influence, how I have influence, how the people on Instagram that we follow have influence. But it might feel kind of funny because you're like, I don't have a ton of followers. People don't listen to me, whatever. But you have influence right where you're at. So we thought it would be fun to play a little game about some of the products, like infomercials. You wake up in the middle of the night when the TV's on at a sleepover and you see those like weird long commercials. Those are called infomercials. And they're usually trying to sell you something. So we're gonna play a game all about these crazy products that got so big because we're influenced to buy them. So how the game is gonna work is I'm gonna show a picture right up in this bubble next to me, and you are going to tell me what the product is, okay? So like if it's a can of Coca-Cola, you're gonna say it's a Coke. All right, let's do it. Okay, first up, this is a very comfy thing that just blew up because of crazy commercials, but they are super cozy. I've never actually owned one, but they look very cozy. Do you know what this is called? All right, up next, I don't really have much to say about this one. It's a bit of a private matter, so if you know, you know. All right, this one is like, you're getting swole, you're getting nice and fit for the summer. Do you remember what this is called? I don't know if they still sell them, but I feel like they were a commercial for like my entire childhood. Okay, these were so fun. I think they like talked a little bit too. They're also kind of creepy looking. Do you remember, I think it's an owl. Do you guys remember what this little toy's name is? Okay, you probably can like imagine it dancing on the wall of like a restaurant or maybe like your uncle's house. Do you guys know what the actual name of this unique wall decor is? Okay, these were all the rage a few years ago. There were so many shapes and colors and sizes. Do you guys remember what these special accessories were called? This is a fun one. They came in multiple different like animals, famous people, and it's not exactly a trendy succulent, but to each their own. Okay, you guys have to know what these are. This was only famous like a year ago. Do you remember what these are called? Okay, you've probably seen them in the mall at those like little kiosks. You've probably seen the commercials. I've never owned one. I feel like my actual like Labrador Retriever dog does a good job of this on its own. But do you guys know what this is called? All right, this is another one that's for like all my fitness people. Do you remember what this is? You can kind of tell in this lady's motion what she's doing. Do you remember it? All right, that was super fun. Hopefully you guys got a few right. I remember every single one of those commercials. I don't know about you guys, but it is crazy to think about the things that we are influenced to buy. Good marketing, There's a reason they pay them the big bucks. But do not forget, guys, register for day camp so that you get that $16 off and you can join us because space is limited. And now I'm going to kick it over to Josh, who's going to kick it over to somebody else, but I'll let him explain.
Hey, what's going on, Mission students? So, in case you didn't know, Sarah and I just had a baby, which is pretty exciting. Anyways, we are continuing our series that we kicked off a couple weeks ago called The You Effect. And I started that series, and as we realized, oh, yeah, I'm going to be having a kid, we decided that we're going to partner together with our friends at Community Christian Church for doing this series. And so I reached out to some of my friends there, and we kind of put this together for their students as well as for our students. And one of my really good friends, and sometimes people say, like, my really good friend, it's somebody who they don't really know. But in this situation, like, it really is one of my really good friends, Jason Ishmael. He and I connect all the time. He's going to be kicking off the second week of our series from a pretty unique location. So I'm going to send it over to Jason as he continues week 2 of The You Effect.
Yo, what's up, Stuco? Jason here. I love those videos where you're seeing people fall off of stuff, you know, where they're like up high, crashing bikes, falling off ladders, jumping, crazy stuff. The truth is you never see these people do these things alone, though. There's always somebody there convincing them to take these crazy leaps and insane moves. So, I was thinking about that myself, actually. And, yes. So, when I was in high school, this is true. I was shoveling snow with a buddy of mine. Yes, and this is like what you think it is. I'm on the roof. So my buddy, we're shoveling snow, and I get this idea. You know, we could go up to the second story, and it had this balcony that wasn't completed yet. So it was just a door that went like straight out. And so here's what I did. I said, dude, I dare you to jump out the window onto a pile of snow, like tall second story. Jump out the window onto a pile of snow. And he's like, you dare me? Yeah, do it. So for real, he jumps out the second story onto a pile of snow. I was supposed to jump next. Falls on, and it was like the classic type of fall that was like you know, like the fastest thud you've ever heard in your life. The snow did nothing to pad his fall. The reality, he broke his leg in 3 spots, and he still walks with a limp this day. I'm just kidding. He was totally fine, but it totally stung. I saw him fall out of the window. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing this. But the truth is, I think we a lot of times underestimate, the reality that we have massive influence on each other. I mean, I think there's times where all of us have done things that we would have never done. Like, there's no way I would have made some of the decisions I made, and maybe you could say the same thing. Like, doing some of the crazy stuff that happened, unless there was somebody else there to try to talk me into it and move me into it. And so, like, when we're talking about the You Effect with all of this, I think it's really important, just like we talked about last week, that you don't underestimate the absolute power of your influence on other people. But I want to bring this out because there's this text in Acts. So we've got Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Acts is the next one that follows. This is really the story of the church. This is the story of how the church started. This story of all the stuff that Jesus lived, died, and rose from the dead for takes root. And here's the beautiful thing about it. In Acts chapter 2, the disciples, they receive Jesus' closest followers. They've been waiting for him after he's risen from the dead. And he shows up in this like crazy way where this wind rushes through the room they're in. This fire comes down on their heads, and they receive this power from the Holy Spirit. They're talking languages they've never spoken before. They preach this message to thousands of people, and Peter's like throwing it down big time. It's like saying stuff like, God has made this Jesus whom you crucified with Lord and Christ. He's saying the death couldn't keep its hold on him. That there's no way you could stop him. Think about it. Everything that had happened up until that point proved that nothing could stop Jesus. And here they are, standing after Jesus has been like publicly crucified and tortured, risen from the dead, boasting in his resurrection. You couldn't shut these guys up no matter how much you threatened their lives. But this is what I love. I mean, we see a massive effect through Peter in particular, one of Jesus' closest followers who preaches this message. But the truth was, like, the big thing that happens, and I think we put an overemphasis on this, like we think that all the impact that happened was Peter. 3,000 people get baptized that day. Big message, but no, you got to see this. After Peter does his thing. And yes, there was huge effect on this. There's another step that gets taken by the followers of Jesus, by the people who heard the message and did something about it. Because it'd be nothing if Peter throws this bomb message down and then like nobody's moved, nobody's life has changed. Check this out. This is how they start living as a result of what preaching happened there, of the hope of Jesus in that place. This is in Acts 2:42. All the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to the sharing in meals, including the Lord's Supper and to prayer. So they're like doing the stuff you'd expect, right? This is the church stuff, you know. This is remembering Jesus and honoring Jesus. They're getting together, they're hanging out, they're living life together. But this is beautiful. Listen to this. This is Acts 2:43. A deep sense of awe came over all of them. And the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders, and all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. You hear that? Like everything. They left it all out there. And they worshiped together in the temple each day. They met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and they shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all the while praising God, enjoying the goodwill of all people. And each day, the Lord added to their fellowship those who were being saved. You realize this happens not just because one person had influence on everybody else. No. This happened, like the big things happened. This is literally the start of the church as you and I know it. Like the movement that you and I are a part of right now happened in Acts chapter 2. And it wasn't just a message and people saying, yes, I agree. Yes, I believe. Okay, I'll get baptized. And all those things amazing and great. The beautiful thing about all of this is that people started living it. They started actually doing this thing. I mean, so much so that they sold everything they had to share with each other and to share with those in need. I'll be honest with you, sometimes it feels like that type of church, that type of living is so foreign and so far. Like the experiences that they had in Acts chapter 2, where they were so sold out that they'd give everything away for it. It seems so different. And I want to grab onto this with you and right now challenge you in this season to think about how you could be living at a greater level, at a greater level of generosity and love toward people. And I honestly can't think of a better space to do that than in your small group. I mean, what would you think if you could say that group of people, from your perspective and from theirs, that they were with you and that they were for you, that you were with them and for them? You see, that's really the kind of influence that changed the world 2,000 years ago. That is still the same kind of thing that changes the world today, that people are, in a very real way, laying their lives down for each other. So I don't know what you think about this, but I hope that we are challenging each other not to jump off the roof into a pile of snow and be stupid idiots, that our influence is more powerful than that. I pray that you would exercise the kind of influence that says, hey, I'm going to put you first. I'm going to lay my life down the way that Jesus laid his life down for me. And you just imagine what would happen if an entire community of believers continue to live like that. How would people not notice that? How would lives not be changed by that truth? So, Stuco, be with each other, be for each other, and show the world what it means, what it looks like to have the kind of influence that says, you first, I love you like Jesus loves you. And I'm telling you, people are going to want to be a part of that. People are going to want to be a part of that kind of community of people. And so that's who we need to be. That's what we've been called to be. Stuka, I love you guys, and thanks for coming up on the roof with me. Don't worry, I'm fine, and don't do this at home.
All right, that was an awesome message. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now I'm going to tell you guys the answers to those famous infomercial crazy products that we buy. All right, first up, none other than the Snuggie. Keeps you warm while also being, you can walk around and you can do things in it. All right, the next one is called a Squatty Potty. I'm not gonna explain that to you, just Squatty Potty. You can look it up. All right, and the next one for all my at-home gym goers is a Bowflex. All right, and these creepy but kind of cute little owl guys are called Furbies. Did you have one? All right, I honestly didn't know what the name of this fish was before looking it up, but it is actually called a big mouth Billy bass. All right, and the super cool and trendy bracelets that we all used to wear are called Silly Bands. And this unique home decor item is called a Chia Pet. I never had one of these, but I feel like the people who did are doing pretty well in life. All right, next up, I'm sure you all knew what this was called. It is a fidget spinner. All right, and these cozy little creatures are called pillow pets. Again, I much more prefer my actual dog to these stuffed animals, but that's just my opinion. And last but not least, it is a shake weight. You know those things that it bounces, those things? Yeah, that's what that was. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I hope you had a ton of fun with us this morning. Once again, final time, third time's a charm. Do not forget, go register for day camp. High schoolers, August 6th on a Thursday. Middle schoolers, we're gonna see you on a Saturday, August 8th. Make sure to go register and have an awesome week. We will see you next Sunday.